Hey guys, it's Jordan with the Young Turks and TYT Politics. I am in Chicago at the airport as I continue on with the day of hell in terms of traveling. My flight was at 7 a.m. From New York. I first had to come to Chicago. I have a 3 hour layover here. From Chicago, I will be going to Denver. I have a 3 hour layover in Denver, and then I will be going to Bismarck, North Dakota. When I get to Bismarck, North Dakota, I have to wait 2 hours for Emma Vigeland, my camera woman, editor, fellow host extraordinaire, to get to the airport. So overall, it will be a 14-hour day of traveling in service of you, the viewer. So Emma and I will be in North Dakota tomorrow morning, up and running at Standing Rock. This is my fourth time covering Standing Rock on the ground, and I would say that this is the final hurrah, most likely, at least this stage of the story. So let me give you a little recap of what's gone on. As you know, the final permits to drill under Lake Oahe, which is the main water source that is being fought over. They are, as of right now, there are no permits for Energy Transfer Partners, which is the parent company, to drill under Lake Oahe. I did a Facebook video a couple days ago that reported that Energy Transfer Partners essentially said, well, we're going to do it anyway, because Barack Obama, the hell out of here. So they said they were going to drill anyway. The Army Corps of Engineers gave me a statement that was essentially like, well, they know they're not allowed to drill. So kind of previewing that they're going to look the other way if they drill. So then on Friday, there was a report that came out early in the afternoon that Obama was set to announce his approval for the final permit as early as Monday. So everybody started freaking out. This was on Friday. Obama going to approve the final permit that would allow the pipeline to be completed. That is what I call a trial balloon. You send out news that you don't particularly want the masses to know about on a Friday afternoon. Everybody's exhausted from the election. Maybe nobody would pay attention. So I think Obama was trying, through leaking that to the press, to get news out that he knew would be met very, very poorly, very, very negatively, very, very fiercely. Get it out at a time most people aren't paying attention. Kind of like Energy Transfer Partners, the parent company of Dakota Access Pipeline, on Election Day, issuing a statement that they planned on drilling in 2 weeks. So Obama leaked this to the press, or his administration leaked this to the press, that he was going to approve the pipeline or approve the final permits. And then within 2 or 3 hours after the social media uproar and the exactly what he was expecting, I only think it was worse than what he was expecting, they started to backtrack. So the original story, I believe it was in Politico, the headline was changed to Obama administration denies decision on permits. So essentially, Obama put his finger on the stove. It got too hot. Pulled it back. So as of now, there is no permits have been granted. But I'm gonna say this logically speaking, just my speculation. Obama embarks on his final foreign trip as president of the United States tomorrow. He'll be in Greece and Peru and some other places, and it's for 6 days. So reason would stand that if they leaked on Friday to the press, oh, we're going to approve this pipeline as early as Monday, then they backtracked. And then on Monday, he's going out of the country for 6 days, where most of the time he's going to be answering questions about Donald Trump, President-elect Trump. Reason would stand that Monday would be, if Obama's putting through bad news for water protectors, environmentalists, people who care about humanity, if he's putting out there that he's going to approve this final permit, reason would stand he'd probably do it tomorrow and then get the hell out of town. That's my speculation, but that makes sense to me. Also, the Army Corps of Engineers, right even before the press leak on Friday that said Obama was going to approve this, the Army Corps of Engineers said that they were going to have some type of announcement within a few days. So you're sort of seeing momentum for an announcement. Now, could Obama change course? If his original plan was to approve it, could he change course? Yeah, he can. A lot of people are now saying, Obama is very shrewd. He's a pragmatist. He knows even if he denies the permits, as soon as he's out of office and it's President Trump, Energy Transfer Partners will resubmit for the permits, and Trump will gladly approve it. So many people think Obama is going to say, well, what's the point? What's the point of me stopping it? Well, let me tell you what the point is, Mr. President. Sometimes you have to separate politics from purity, I guess you could say. Nobody asks for you to be progressively pure at all times. But if you stop this pipeline, number one, you're going to embolden the environmental movement. You're going to embolden the water protectors. You're going to embolden the progressive movement. Bernie Sanders has talked very vehemently about standing against this pipeline. You're going to embolden them with this victory to go even further, and you're going to be against President Trump, and you're going to be leaving a shit sandwich on his doorstep. Trump doesn't want to deal with a protest over a pipeline. And by the way, Trump has invested in Energy Transfer Partners, so there's a gross conflict of interest anyway that protectors and protesters will bring to light if Obama shuts this pipeline down and it comes to us having to fight Trump on it. So Trump has investments in it. Trump's already going to be dealing with mass protests over trying to repeal Obamacare. He's already going to be dealing with mass protests on his immigration craziness. So on the scale of like what President Trump will want to deal with, I don't really think this pipeline ranks up there. And I also think if Obama denies this pipeline, it's a huge victory for the progressive movement. And then Trump has to explain why is he reversing course on this pipeline, which, by the way, I invest in the company. If our media is still the media, if journalists are still journalists, you're going to have to hold President Trump accountable to why is he reversing a decision not to grant permits to a pipeline to drill under a main water source that he has money involved with. So step one is Obama, step two is Trump. Frankly, Trump I think is easier. Trump I think is easier to stop because it's a gross conflict of interest. He's got money in this pipeline, or the company who owns the pipeline. So it gets down to Obama, who Cenk just took the task on the Young Turks on Friday. I've been taking the task. Obama and the Department of Justice, the Army Corps, have essentially been looking at the cultural impact of this pipeline. They haven't been looking at the environmental impact because there's been no environmental impact study, which you're supposed to have for big scale projects like this. So they've been looking at the cultural impact study. Well, if they give a shit about the Native Americans and their land, it's really black and white, the cultural impact. They've already dug up graves where ancestors are buried to build this. So if it's not just a gross play to blow oil companies, which at this point Obama he's got nothing to gain by giving sexual favors out to oil companies. You've already given enough sexual favors to oil companies, Mr. President. You're not running for re-election. Your legacy is toast anyway. So why don't you actually build on your legacy, the one thing you can control, which is doing the right thing. And this isn't just about this pipeline in North Dakota and the obvious, most urgent issue of taking care of the water, which is water is life, as they say. But this is the first African-American president, right? So a lot of people criticize him that he didn't actually serve in the interest of African-Americans. He did everything he can to not be viewed as a black president. We could debate whether that was good or not, but this is the first African-American president. So you're telling me you want your legacy to be, the final nail in your legacy to be that you just shit all over the Native Americans and said, yeah, drill through their water, who cares? It doesn't impact their culture, it doesn't impact their environment. That's what you want to do, Mr. President? It's not like you're going to have problems funding your library. It's not like you're going to be struggling to find a job if you want one. So really, it's very rare in politics. Bernie Sanders does it all the time, but for actual politicians, capital P politicians, it's very rare that you can make decisions with no consequences, where you don't have to factor in your donors. This is one of those opportunities. So you float this trial balloon out that you're going to approve it. 4 hours later, after social media and the rest of you light a fire under his ass, oh, we backtrack. And now you're going away for 6 days for your final foreign policy trip. And granted, Obama has other things on his mind, inserting the right person at the DNC, which I'm going to get to a little bit later. Trying to convince Trump, his future cabinet, not to full-scale repeal Obamacare, which all he cares about is his legacy. But at a certain point, if you really are progressive, which you're not, Cenk says it all the time, and he's right, but if you have any progressiveness in you rejected the Keystone Pipeline. This is the Keystone Pipeline on steroids. It's the same exact type of oil, fracked oil, same dirty chemicals, only this one is going right through not just the Native Americans' water, but water for 18 to 20 million people that get their water from this source. So what is the argument that can be made that there's no cultural impact? Oh, it's not going through the natives' land. I mean, this is your moment. And obviously, Obama's not watching my Facebook Live from Chicago Airport. But if you are, you and I need to talk, Mr. President. But there's no, listen, I'm not shocked anymore. Trump's president, so all the rules are out, or all the rules are out there. But what a bad precedent it would set for your final decision as president. One of your final decisions to be to let a fracked pipeline pretty much torpedo through Native American land and poison their water. Because it's not if, it's when the pipeline's going to leak. They've been building this pipeline so recklessly, so quickly. Investors have been threatening to back out if they don't have it done, and the oil flowing by New Year. So it's really up to you, President Obama, but I got news for you. If you decide to approve this pipeline and then hop on a plane and go across the world on your little foreign trip, your final one, yeah, this problem's not going to go away just because you're out of sight. I have a feeling you'll get an influx of people down at that camp where I'm going now for the 4th time. And by the way, Obama, even though there has been human rights violations, even though there has been gross illegal behavior by the police, including illegal strip searching of women, breaking into people's cars and stealing their property, police brutality, throwing elderly women to the ground, broke one girl's hand that they arrested, which I have a video coming up on that tomorrow. Human rights violations after human rights violations. Also police flying in no-fly zones, police flying with no lights. At least at this current moment, nobody's been killed. Thank God. But what are you going to do, Obama? You're going to approve this? You're going to get out of town? And then the violence that ensues? What are you going to do if people start to lose their life? Is oil that important? Is dirty money that important? Do you have one final ounce of courage? Because you know what? I'm going to be there win or lose. Because there's going to be other fights that the progressive movement, progressive journalists are going to fight. And I'm keenly aware that this is a long battle. All these issues are interconnected: pipelines, economic inequality, economic injustice, income inequality, environmental justice, social justice. They're all interconnected, and there will be losses along the way. And all those losses are going to make the final victory all that much sweeter. But the bottom line is Barack Obama, the only thing he cares about is pressure and legacy. So the time to put the pressure on is now. If you go back to my video from Friday, it's up on youtube.com/2YTPolitics. We have in those videos the number for the Army Corps of Engineers, the number for the Department of Justice, the number for the White House. I don't think I put it in the video description. I'll do that today. This is your time to flood the lines, folks. This is your time to find out where Energy Transfer Partners is. That's in Dallas, Texas, I believe. And go down to that office and peacefully protest. Frankly, if I got to call out progressives too. This is the time for my friends Susan Sarandon, Mark Ruffalo, Shailene Woodley, all the people who have been doing such great work around this issue to get down to Standing Rock. Of course, it's powerful to do things all over the country, but the symbolism is now. The symbolism at Standing Rock is a more powerful thing.